Sparks are only 2.5 games out of the 8th and final playoff spot in the WNBA. The 12 and 15 Sparks have 17 games left on the schedule. They haven't made the playoffs since 2020. The Sparks are at home Tuesday night against the Indiana Fever. An LA County judge has ordered former Lakers forward Lamar Odom to vacate a home he's been renting in Studio City. Odom owes $45,000 in unpaid rent. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
For the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black Altadena is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
It's time to set our intentions, set our self-care, and find our focus. This is Mindful Mondays with Saharah Ali on KBLA Talk 1580.
What a blessing. First, Lamika Castillo comes into the studio, and now we get to get ourselves together, as I say, with a meditation instructor. She's also an astrologer. She is a life coach and a sound bath specialist, sound healer, and yoga teacher. All of those things make it the perfect way to start our week. Mindful Monday with Saharah Ali is now. Good morning, Saharah.
Good morning, Dominique, and good morning, KBLA family. Welcome to Mindful Mondays, where we get our minds right for the week by setting positive intentions to honor our mind and body through meditation, prayer, and affirmation as we step unapologetically into our week, being on purpose with our power, wisdom, truth, and faith. Yes, this week we're going to keep our head to the sky because we're being blessed with the celestial gift of a Aquarius full moon on Saturday. And the full moon energy we ride all this week, encouraging us to introspect, to look at personal growth, and most of all, to have a collective well-being mindset. It's urging us to release what no longer serves our highest good, giving us an opportunity to bring dreams to fruition, and opening doors for second chances and breaking bad habits, reframing all expectations. The real celestial gift of this Aquarius full moon highlights celebrating the fruit of our labor, releasing worn-out beliefs, setting new intentions, aiding spiritual growth and change through faith, meditation, and prayer. The call to action is to take a journey into the world behind our eyes, softening our hearts, releasing our egos to hear our soul's wisdom, and to unapologetically embrace the innate truth, releasing what no longer serves our highest good. So going forward, let's lean into our Mindful Monday meditation. Pause for a moment, center and ground yourself. Find a place where you are comfortable and take a breath. Take a breath, anchoring your feet to the earth, connecting to the root of your purpose, and opening yourself to align to your soul's path. And sit here for a moment in this time and space with our Mindful Monday and just breathe. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, let go. Let go and be right here, right now, and now breathe in this moment. Breathe in this moment, open to inner wisdom from the Most High. Allow yourself to just breathe and relax and close your eyes, embracing clarity with an open heart and mind, calling on the power of divine wholeness. Just breathe and center, release, and let go. Breathe and mindfully connect to your center. Anchor yourself and be right here, right now, relaxed and letting go. Calming your mind, open to divine guidance, and relax, being on purpose in this moment. Connect to your heartbeat. Connect to your breath. Lean into your divinity. Listen for clarity with each breath as you relax and surrender to love. Breathe, calling on your angels and ancestors as you surrender the past, as you let go of fear and any stagnation. Breathe and open yourself to fulfillment, embracing divine truth. Relax, opening your heart and mind, ready to attract miracles and blessings, embracing happiness. Allow yourself to breathe and align with divine grace, manifesting clarity and abundance. And with each exhalation, allow yourself to let go and to embrace being bold and ready to interface with your best life, to honor self-love, to be on purpose with grace. Breathe, embracing feelings of truth, promising yourself to be unapologetic, trusting the power of self-love, and choosing mindfully to be on purpose. Breathe, relax, opening your heart, feeling anchored, grounded, and centered in truth. And mindfully with each breath, surrender. Surrender right here, right now, your fear. Surrender your shame. Surrender your anger. Surrender your helplessness. Relax and be here now. Breathe, believing all things are manifesting in your favor. Relax in the stillness of this moment, opening your heart, ready to receive direction, to receive wholeness, to receive truth. And as you relax, opening your heart, allow yourself to be ready to receive our Mindful Monday affirmation. Relax and let go. Feel anchored and centered, and open your heart and mind to our Mindful Monday affirmation for the week. Today, I open my heart and mind, ready to embrace divine clarity, living on purpose, celebrating my highest good with grace and ease. Today, I open my heart and mind, ready to embrace divine clarity, living on purpose, celebrating my highest good with grace and ease. Relax and breathe. Center yourself, ground yourself, and slowly begin to bring your awareness back to this moment, to present time, giving yourself permission to embrace divine clarity, living on purpose, celebrating your highest good with grace and ease. Thank you, Dominique. Have a smiley, Miles, and the 1580 KBLA family. Have an unapologetic, mindfully blessed week, embracing divine clarity, living on purpose, celebrating your highest good with grace and ease.
And so we have a full moon in Aquarius on Saturday, and we're going to be coming out of this Mercury retrograde. So we leave the full moon, and we have those little, what you call retro shade days, the beginning of next week. So it sounds like you always say, go to the place behind your eyes, go inside, work on yourself, love, do some meditation. It seems like an extra specially good week to do those things.
Yeah, and the gift is to be rooted in our own medicine, to be rooted in true intentions, and to have offering without ego, and to serve in the lift of humanity as we bow down to truth and divine purpose in the humility of selfhood, open to wisely move as a collective. This is all about collective energy. It's all about building a healthy future with like-minded individuals to be change agents to navigate the shadow side of consciousness that we're experiencing right now. And so the retrograde is allowing us to go in and to explore how we really stand and what we stand for, but also to embrace our own light. Because if we don't shine our light, then we can't shine our light as a collective. And then we cannot, as a collective, bring true change. We have to bring change through consciousness.
And there's the part that comes to our own responsibility for self-healing. Dr. Shalonda Crawford, a.k.a. Dr. Sunshine, is coming in today. Her book is Employ Your Pain, Putting the Hurt to Work for You. And when I was reading it, I thought about you, Saharah Ali, because you always talk about how important it is to get beyond our pain body, what you call the pain body, and stop telling the same stories over and over and over again. And then another friend sent me a meme this morning about how, well, it's not a meme, it was actually a quote from The Shrink, talking about how sometimes venting isn't good because we can tell the same stories over and over again and imprint ourselves with the trauma instead of imprinting ourselves with solutions and, like you say, light, navigating that shadow side with our own light rather than just wallowing in it.
Yeah, and repetitive thoughts, actions of your pain body experience is a conditioned response. So, and this is why they say to change a habit, it takes 21 days, but it's more than 21 days. It takes 30 days for the brain to upload it. It takes 60 days for your whole being to embrace that change. And so we can say, I'm releasing my pain body, but yes, if we keep telling the story, we don't release it. Because as we speak, so shall it be. And so it's important to think about what we want, not only think about what we want, but put action behind what we want so that change will happen. You have to take ownership of the change you want to see in your life. And that ownership is also telling yourself the truth about what you're willing to release. Because we can say, I'm going to let it go, but then you go tell your friend, like, this happened, that happened. And it's like, well, you're just reliving it. Because the mind doesn't know the difference. This is why when you say affirmations, you can't say, I want to have. You have to claim it. You give yourself permission to claim it. God's will to be done under grace and ease. I open myself to receive. Now, I think I might want to let myself have this.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you say pain body, explain what you mean by that.
Our nervous system holds pain and trauma. We know this as people. We have ancestral pain. We have conscious pain. We have pain of all the journeys that we've experienced. And the dynamic is it is stored within different places in our body. This is why it's important to get acupuncture, and massages, but more than anything, the sound healing treatment, because it busts it all up in one setting. But it's important that we acknowledge where our pain is in our body. You know, we carry anger. We carry anger in our hips. We carry helplessness in our lower back. So if you look at dis-ease in the body, it is tied to some mental pain in the mind. You know, knee problems have to do with your inability to surrender, to humble yourself, or to bow down to what is true. You know, pain in your neck is like, who is the pain in my neck that I can't see the direction of where I'm trying to go? You know, so the pain body is an intelligence that lives within us, but is tied to our mind, how our mind functions, the beliefs that we store within ourselves, the pain that we carry in our heart, and the truth that we refuse to embrace. Embracing truth will heal the pain body, be an acceptance of what is, as opposed to allowing ourselves to fester in things we have no control over. And I always like to say, you know, and I think Tavis said it first, you know, it's a setup, not a setback. So every pain body journey that we perceive as pain is not the journey of the pain, it's the journey of the liberation. It's like a diamond. You know, you look at this rock and it's like it has pressure and cold. It just burns to have this brilliant diamond. But we never look at what this diamond was before it became a diamond and what it had to go through to give the brilliancy of it. And so our journey in life is like that. We're like a diamond, and we have pain body experiences to burn away these things so that we can shine our light and be brilliant and connect to the root of our own medicine, the truth of our intentions, and to release the ego self, the ego, edging God out, to get to the wholeness of who we are and to be on purpose. And as we stand right now in experiencing the shadow side of consciousness as a collective, offering us an opportunity to look at who are we willing to be, how are we willing to stand in our truth and hold the space of the innate wisdom we have about who we are, not only as a people, but mostly who we are as a person, and the wholeness and the light that we're willing to embrace, to be a change agent, to shine the light on the shadow that has blinded us all.
Saharah Ali, thanks for going a little deeper with me this morning. If you want to find out what's up with Saharah, I suggest you visit her website, saharahali.com. That has an H on the end, by the way, Saharah, Saharah, saharahali.com. If you want to get a reading or a sound bath or maybe a personal yoga session, you can call Elise, Saharah's assistant, at 213-628-9783, 213-628-9783. 9783. Thank you so much, Saharah.
Thank you. Love you all.
Love you more. It's perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580. What is going on in Texas? That's next on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
Hey, it's Matt, your leaf filter trusted pro. Gutters are an often neglected part of the home. They're also one of the most important. Clogged, overflowing gutters can cause serious problems like foundation damage or basement flooding, which can cost thousands of dollars to fix. Let's face it, cleaning gutters yourself is not only a hassle, it can be dangerous. But when you get Leaf Filter, you'll never have to worry about cleaning clogged gutters again. Get started today by visiting leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free inspection. If you decide to move forward, we'll professionally clean, realign, and seal your gutters before installing our patented stainless steel micro mesh system. Leaf Filter keeps out everything but the water. And it's backed by a lifetime transferable no clogs warranty. So you're protected for good. We're in your neighborhood and ready to help. Visit Leaf Filter today for a free inspection and estimate, and you could save up to 30%. Visit leaffilter.com/deal. That's leaffilter.com/deal.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place for changes big and small. Loud or quiet, find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
What is going on in Texas? Well, first of all, they got that Governor Abbott, who was just a menace to society. Remember him sending buses full of migrants, he's the one who should have RICO charges. Forget Diddy. He transported way more people across state lines against their will or tricked them into doing so. But in any case, I digress. So right now, the Democrats in Texas have left the state. This is a tactic they have used before. They are trying to stop Republicans there from creating 5 new seats in Congress that would be ironclad Republican seats. So right now there are 38 congressional seats in the Lone Star State. They are currently holding 25 of those seats. In other words, out of 38 congresspersons in Texas, 25 come from Republican districts or are held by Republicans. What they are trying to do is change the map so they will have 30 instead of 25. 30 out of 38 seats would be held by Republicans. That would help Republicans to get a larger majority in the House of Representatives and maybe hold on to control of the House for 2026 midterm elections. And so the Dems have left the state because it denies a quorum to Republicans, so they cannot hold a vote to create those gerrymandered new Republican districts. They've left the state. Most of them have gone to Illinois, and they're planning to stay there for 2 weeks because their legislature is in a special session right now that only lasts 2 weeks long. It's a disaster relief session that Republicans are using to ram through this gerrymandered seat division, which is being backed by the president and the White House. Gavin Newsom has threatened tit for tat. He's saying, if y'all do that, we're going to do it too. I'm not sure that he can do it because we in California are supposed to have a system where a non-partisan commission decides how those seats are drawn. But I don't know. I mean, perhaps he can. A bunch of other governors, Democratic governors, support Newsom's plan to redraw California maps, and he's saying he will do so. He's saying that they're talking about having a special election in California on November 4th to vote on new congressional maps that would push back on what Texas is doing. That would basically gerrymandering in California to create more blue districts to counteract what Republicans are doing in Texas. This is the issue that Ed Sanders and I were on opposite sides of, because I feel like we got to do something. We can't just sit there, we're going to take the high ground and let Republicans get 5 more seats, and then we could end up stuck with they're holding both houses of Congress, the Supreme Court, and the executive branch for another 3.5 years. Let's go to Paul calling us from LA. Good morning, Paul. Paul, you with me?
Good morning, Dominique. Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I have to come off of mute. I'm directly with you, but remember, this decision coming with the Supreme Court that they're going to be making basically is going to be essentially like the final nail in the Voting Rights Act. And if that happens, then they're basically saying partisan gerrymandering and redistricting is not unlawful. So if that's the case, you do to them what they're doing to us, basically, because they're basically just diluting not only just the black vote at this point, but also the Latino vote.
Yeah. The thing about it is, if we get into a gerrymandering arms race, I don't know that ends well for Dems, because I feel like Republicans are always willing to go further in bending the rules, breaking the rules, cheating, lying, stealing. So I'm not sure we win that, but I'm not mad at Governor Newsom for doing something. I mean, what are we going to sit back and just do nothing and lose in 2026?
Yeah, right. But at the same time, you can't play flipsies with these people, and that's why I think that to kind of continue on our last conversation, that the establishment of the Democratic Party wants to try to stay moderate, right? To try to appeal to the white moderate voters or independent voters. But if you pay attention, really the voters of the party are pulling the party left, further left, because those policies that the people want are popular, right? So you cannot. We are like, January 6th had nothing to do with black people. January 6th, and I've always repeated this, had to do with white people compromising and fighting white people on how this country is either going to move backwards or it's going to move forward. You cannot play footsies with fascists. These people have made a decision. The MAGA, the Make America Great Again, the man said out of his mouth to him was 1875 to 1915, which means that was pre-civil rights, where white, rich men, the landowners, the slave owners predominantly, had to say so on how things were going to work, how resources were going to be allocated, how tax dollars were going to be allocated. I think we're looking for leadership that's going to push back and fight. So my thing to that, Dominique, is some of this has to fall on the voters. People could be up in arms and complain all they want to, but if you don't vote, no matter what, that microphone you're on, Dominique, that car you drive, those roads you drive on, those potholes in the streets, those street lights on, that money comes out your check. Don't you want to say so on how the money goes back into your community, the schools, the education?
Absolutely. Hold that thought, Paul. You're welcome to land when we come forward. Hard stop here for news, traffic, and sports. Then we continue on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Jeanine Pirro has been confirmed as U.S. Attorney for D.C. in a 50-45 Senate vote.
I will happily swear in Jeanine Pirro, who's going to be fantastic at what she does in D.C. over the next very short period of time.
President Trump praised her, saying she'll be sworn in soon. Pirro previously served as a judge, prosecutor, and Fox News host. Black unemployment has climbed to 7.2%, the highest since the pandemic, erasing gains made under the Biden administration. July's job report shows racial disparities persist, with black workers facing nearly double the unemployment rate of white workers. And Gina Wen, a former partner once known as victim number 3 in Diddy's federal case, has written a letter supporting his bail. She calls him a changed man and devoted father, saying he's no danger to the public ahead of his October sentencing. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
It was a good day Sunday for both of LA's baseball teams. The Dodgers closed out a 9-game road trip with a 3-0 win at Tampa Bay. The Dodgers had played 18 consecutive innings without scoring. They're back at home tonight against St. Louis. Angels left fielder Taylor Ward hit a game-winning 3-run homer in the bottom of the ninth to give the Angels a dramatic 8-5 win over the Chicago White Sox. The Angels are at home tonight against Tampa Bay. After winning 7 of their last 10 games, the LA Sparks are only 2.5 games out of the 8th and final playoff spot in the WNBA. The 12 and 15 Sparks have 17 games left on the schedule. They haven't made the playoffs since 2020. The Sparks are at home Tuesday night against the Indiana Fever. An LA County judge has ordered former Lakers forward Lamar Odom to vacate a home he's been renting in Studio City. Odom owes $45,000 in unpaid rent. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Nearly 7 million Americans aged 65 and older are living with Alzheimer's disease, also known as AD, a type of dementia that affects memory, thinking, and behavior, making everyday tasks challenging. But did you know that black adults aged 65 and older are twice as likely as white adults to develop AD? There are things you can do to help reduce your risk for developing AD. Managing conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure is crucial. Staying physically active, maintaining social connections, eating a healthy diet, and keeping your mind engaged with activities like reading or puzzles can all contribute to brain health. It's also important to recognize some common signs and symptoms of early AD, such as forgetfulness that causes problems with everyday life, asking the same question a few times in a row, and difficulty concentrating on basic tasks. If you see these signs in yourself or a loved one, don't wait. Early diagnosis and intervention are key to managing AD effectively. To learn more about AD and a potential treatment option, visit treatallzearly.com. That's treatallzearly.com. This message is brought to you by AZI.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we aim to foster enlightening, sustainable, restorative dialogue, and we welcome unapologetically progressive viewpoints that empower fellow citizens. We are now accepting submissions for KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorials like this one.
For the KBLA Talk 1580 guest editorial, I'm Martin Gordon, chair of the Pasadena Community Coalition. Recently, I listened to a Tavis Smiley Show conversation with James Farr. James said something that caught me off guard. Black out the Dina is gone. My community is being murdered. I said murdered.
All you have to do is go to our website homepage at KBLA1580.com and click on the icon that says KBLA Guest Editorials to learn more about our editorial standards and content submission guidelines. As long as the topic aligns with our mission, we are happy to review your submission and consider it for broadcast. We can't make any promises, but we want to amplify progressive perspectives that are community-focused and solution-oriented. So, go to KBLA1580.com right now to download all the information you need about our guest editorials. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Your child is 18, and suddenly you no longer have legal access to their medical info, even in an emergency. No health decisions, no financial help, nothing, unless you plan ahead. That's why Trust and Will created the Young Adult Plan. It includes HIPAA authorization, healthcare directives, and power of attorney. Everything your child needs to stay protected and stay connected. Go to trustandwill.com and get your Young Adult Plan for just $69, because turning 18 shouldn't mean cutting parents out of the picture. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. See website for details.
Trust and Will.
Some things can steal your sunshine.
Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken. Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Yes, indeed, we are. Next hour, we'll be talking with Dr. Shalonda Crawford, a.k.a. Dr. Sunshine. Her book is Employ Your Pain, Putting the Hurt to Work for You. That should be a riveting conversation. Paul called me at 800-920-1580. Of course, you're invited to do the same. Paul, you were responding to my thoughts about the gerrymandering situation with Texas trying to add 5 seats for Trump and making that move. Dems are now out of the state trying to stop that action by staying out 2 weeks. The attorney general there threatening to arrest them and fine them up to $500 a day that they are out of the state. So that battle is heating up. I've said, though, that I support Gavin Newsom in his threats to do something similar in California, because I don't think we can sit by and do nothing, even though it could turn into sort of an gerrymandering war. You've said, pointing out that the Supreme Court is likely going to continue to sign off on gerrymandering, as they've already showed a tendency to do with their prior decisions. And I don't think you are quite done making your point. Paul, you there? Okay, well, maybe it is a...
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Everybody in these mute buttons.
I'm sorry.
No worries.
But no, you cannot play footsies with these people. These people, like the government overthrow that happened January 6th never stopped. And the problem is, once again, throughout the history of this country, going back to all the way to the Civil War in this country, every time bad actors and bad characters are never held accountable. Traitors are never held accountable. Why? Because rich, white, predominantly white men and their patriarchy is always upheld overall. We are watching in real time this the war has not stopped. They don't look at us as fellow Americans. They look at us as their enemy that they have to conquer. It's a cult, Dominique. And I want to land my plane with this. My sisters, I pay attention directly to what's happening in our households. With the standard of living being what it is right now, it's hard for us. And when I looked at the jobs report, the one thing that they always overlook is black unemployment is skyrocketing again. And of that, over 10% is black women. I shared on my last call directly how that's a big issue for us, because we live in 2-income households and barely making it meet with that. So my sisters always got love for you. And this country started falling apart. Why? Because the disrespect of black women in real time happened and everybody ignored it. Don't think these brothers don't see it. We love you.
Oh, thank you for the love, and thank you for pointing that out, too, because it is true. The last jobs report wasn't bleak overall, but again, let's disaggregate. Black women took the biggest hit. We lost the most jobs, the most wealth. Is that an accident? Absolutely not. I also believe, Paul, that this is an argument for the 92% to not sit this one out. Because you can sit there and say, well, we told y'all and we voted for Kamala Harris and we always save America, and all of that would be true. But the fact of the matter is, who's getting hit right now? It's us. So you really can't sit back and go to the nail salon and sip an umbrella drink. You really need to stay engaged. I'm sorry. What does the song say? I'm not tired yet. Don't be tired. We can rest and rejuvenate to a point, but when we're the ones that are getting impacted economically, it's not the time to sit this one out.
It's not at all. It's not at all, Queen. But I'll say this too. the WPC, it's always during the civil rights movement. I know that there have been men, the Dr. Kings, the Malcolms that we talk about, but it's always been black women. The WPC, the Women's Political Council, Rosa Parks, Medgar Evers, that have always been the engine. It's always been black women. And why? Because black women have always looked out for the best of everyone. But at this current time, as black people, we need to circle our wagons and in reality prepare to make sure that we're leading for the next generation of our children that we know in real time are going to be impacted by these cuts that we're living through.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I also want to point out, we're talking about Texas. One of the seats that they want to redraw is held by Congressman Al Green. Surprise, surprise, they want to gerrymander him out of a job. And, of course, he's one of the most outspoken members of Congress. I got to talk with him when I was at the Democratic National Convention and found him to be just a really interesting but also very progressive voice in Congress. Well, they're coming for his seat. And we can pretend that we'll just let America burn and then we'll show up in 2028, but we're burning with it. 800-920-1580. That's the number Paul called. You can do the same. I always appreciate talking with you, Mr. Lee. Let's go to Jerry calling us from Beverly Hills. I will lead with this for those who don't listen every day. Jerry from Beverly Hills talks the way he does, not because he's drunk, but because he is fighting Parkinson's disease. Good morning, Jerry.
Oh, good morning. I believe, like you, that the Palestinians should stay in Gaza, but how may Israel strike back at Hamas if they should attack again?
Well, I mean,
boots on the ground.
Yeah, so but here's the thing, Jerry. Completely eliminating Hamas, which is what Netanyahu says is their goal, that's like us saying we're going to completely eliminate Al-Qaeda. We've never done it. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean we get to go and level another country and occupy them and starve them. We still want to get rid of Al-Qaeda. So what do? You stay on alert. You do covert and overt operations to try to keep them in check. What you don't get to do is destroy the entire civilian population of one of the many countries that Al-Qaeda operates in and say, we're going to keep bombing, killing children, and starving babies until we get rid of Al-Qaeda. If it's a terrorist organization, by nature, they're underground. And did we win? And did the United States win in Vietnam? No, we did not. Did we win in Afghanistan? No, we did not. Does that mean we should go back to Afghanistan and bomb every building and kill 100,000 people and starve the children? No, it doesn't. You have to continue to fight with your anti-terrorist strategy. But that can't be using the excuse that all the people are human shields and all the hospitals are human shields. I saw a devastating article in the New York Times this weekend. There is an entire generation right now of Palestinian children that have no access to school. Think about if COVID had happened and we never got the schools back. They have bombed into oblivion every single university, high school, middle school. So what are those kids going to do?
I agree with you. I agree with you.
You have to learn how to fight terrorism without destroying the entire civilian population, infrastructure, and starving people intentionally by keeping aid out. That's what you have to do. You're one of the most most well-resourced militaries in the entire world. Figure it out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm listening. The Israeli army, I believe, last time I checked, they're number 15 in the world last time I checked, which is pretty high rank for a very small country.
More covert and sharpshooting and containment without. I agree with you, basically.
Yeah, nobody's saying, bow down to Hamas. No one's ever said that. Benjamin Netanyahu is just trying to stay out of jail. It worked for Trump. Now Trump's trying to make it work for Brazil by punishing them with the tariff. You know, force the guy to be president, start a war, and you too can stay out of jail. Jerry called me at 800-920-1580. I invite you to do the same. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Become a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Get free and confidential information on immigration and citizenship. Visit lapl.org/NAI to find your nearest library or call us at 213-228-7390. That's lapl.org/NAI or 213-228-7390 and start your path to becoming a U.S. citizen with the help of the Los Angeles Public Library. Call 213-228-7390 or visit lapl.org/NAI.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. My privacy. You don't have to speak. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got rights.
Hey, we all got rights. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We're not for everybody, but we're for everybody. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
Wow, this Texas Governor Greg Abbott is a piece of work. Now he's threatening to try to remove these Dems from office who fled the state. He's saying he's going to charge them with crimes and he might try to take them. How can you take duly elected representatives out of office? That's crazy. If a Republican or Democratic governor could simply say, I'm going to remove you from office because you're not following what I want you to do, that would result in total chaos. Every Republican would take all of the Democrats out of office and every Democrat would take all the Republicans out. Then the will of the people would be completely overturned. That's a terrible idea. But I wouldn't put it past Abbott in this case. So that situation is heating up, and our governor is not the only one taking it on. By our governor, I'm talking about the governor of California, because we broadcast from Leimert Park, Africatown, Los Angeles, California, USA. Now, the only thing that confuses me about this, well, it's not the only thing, but one of the main things here is that these lawmakers in Texas have tried this before when Republicans were trying to change the voting rules. They fled. It did not end up working. All it did was delay the situation, and I don't see how it's going to work this time. I would love to see it work, but remember they left the state in 2021 trying to stop those election rules, and they left to try to stop redistricting this is in 2003. They went to Oklahoma. Neither of those worked. Hopefully this one will. I'm not sure. I'm glad they're doing something, but I'm not really hopeful that this is going to stop this gerrymandering, especially with the backing of the White House. And so they're going to draw a map and draw Representative Al Green right out of Congress. Meanwhile, to your point, Jerry, the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who is also currently charged with corruption, and all of that has been sort of put on pause by the war that they started against Hamas, which you could say Hamas started it by attacking people on October 7th, which was a terrible attack on civilians. But it's part of an ongoing war that goes back to 1967, or you could even say 1948. So when we start saying started, and they started it, and they attacked in response to this, and they attacked in response to that, you have to really follow that thread all the way back to 1967 at least, and maybe even 1948. In any case, he's keeping his own self out of jail by keeping this war going. So why would he stop it? Why would he stop it? Then he'll have to face the wrath and reckoning of his own people, who have been marching in the streets in large numbers for the past couple of weeks, demanding an end to the war. Now, Netanyahu is accusing Hamas of not wanting a ceasefire deal, because Hamas released these videos showing the hostages, this guy Avitar David and Ram Braslavsky, appearing to be starving, and that has sparked outrage. So he's saying Hamas doesn't want a ceasefire deal and asking the Red Cross to bring food and medical care to the hostages in Gaza. It just seems ironic to me. You've got dozens of trucks, scores of trucks lined up, hundreds of trucks actually from what I read, lined up with aid ready to go in and help the regular people, the everyday folks on the ground in Palestine who are starving to death. And you won't let them in, but you're going to call on the Red Cross to go in and help the hostages. Make it make sense. According to CNN, tens of thousands of people rallied in Tel Aviv on Saturday, holding signs that say "Stop the war," and calling on their Prime Minister, Netanyahu, to make a deal that would free the hostages in Gaza. So it seems like we're in somewhat of a standstill, and while we stand still, people are starving to death, babies. The Israeli government is denying that people are starving in Gaza, so what are those pictures? AI? They're denying it. They're calling it propaganda, but the UN is saying we have reached the worst case scenario for famine. There's all these hoops you got to jump through to be officially declared a famine. But when people's bones are sticking out and folks are actually dying from hunger, I don't care if you have an official designation or not. That's famine. People are starving to death. And the aid spaces that are controlled by Israel and the United States are death traps. People are getting shot down just trying to get food. This is one of those situations where it seems like the world is waking up, but why is it taking so long? Just as world leaders like French President Macron are saying we're going to recognize Palestine in the months ahead, they're also condemning the treatment of the Israeli hostages that we see on these Hamas videos. But the UN Food Agency says it's the worst case scenario. So are you going to believe a guy who is literally trying to keep himself out of prison for corruption by prolonging a war, who has every motivation to keep the war going, or the experts on feeding people? And what you see with your own eyes via these photos. It's time, it's time to believe our own eyes. I'm glad the world is waking up. I'm glad people are paying attention, and that hopefully we're going to see the movement as particularly the Israeli people. I mean, a lot of protests have been going on there. They're growing. You guys should be the first line of defense because you guys are the ones who elected that dude. And according to what we're being told by the UN, the amount of food and water and help that it will take to save those people who haven't died yet, but they're already starving, is massive. It is massive. They're going to have to let those trucks in. Airdropping from the air will not do it. In fact, it'll probably drop on people, killing people, damaging homes and all of that. And this is something that will be on all of us if we don't speak up, stand up, speak out, and do something about it. I heard Dr. Cornel West speaking over the weekend at a fundraiser for Black Lives Matter Grassroots. And he talked about how we've had genocides over the years, over the decades. Rwanda, Armenia. And how we look back with disbelief that the world didn't do more, that we failed humanity, and pointing out that it's happening now. I was reading about how Ghana, which doesn't have a lot of money, is trying to ship cocoa to Gaza because that's what they have. Chocolate, that's one of their main exports. It's super delicious. And the reason that hit me was not because the first thing you need if you're starving is chocolate, although it would keep you alive. It's because little tiny countries with not that robust of resources are trying to step up. And I asked the question last week, does South Africa get to say, I told you so? They're the ones that took Israel to the World Court. They're the ones that have been calling this out as genocide and have been condemned by the president of our country and actually have faced sanctions for calling it genocide. And now even some progressive Israelis are calling it genocide. So does that mean South Africa gets to say, I told you so? Do they get their aid back? I doubt that until we get another president. Does Ireland get to say, I told you so? They've been calling this out since day one, and I think it's so interesting that the countries that have faced this type of oppression themselves, have faced occupation and apartheid and terror themselves, are the ones that are standing up and saying this is not okay, and we won't conscience it. So does that mean that we the world, owe them compensation for the hits they've taken politically and economically for doing the right thing? There's some food for thought. News, traffic, and sports. And then my colleague, Dr. Shalonda Crawford, a.k.a. Dr. Sunshine, is here. And we're going to talk about how to employ your pain. Put it to work for the greater good and on your own behalf. News, traffic, and sports. Then that on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Janine Pirro has been confirmed as U.S. Attorney for D.C. in a 50-45 Senate vote.
I will happily swear in Janine Pirro, who's going to be fantastic at what she does in D.C. over the next very short period of time.
President Trump praised her, saying she'll be sworn in soon. Pirro previously served as a judge, prosecutor, and Fox News host. Black unemployment has climbed to 7.2%, the highest since the pandemic, erasing gains made under the Biden administration. July's job report shows racial disparities persist, with black workers facing nearly double the unemployment rate of white workers. Has written a letter supporting his bail. She calls him a changed man and devoted father, saying he's no danger to the public ahead of his October sentencing. Get BIN News